To solve this data sufficiency question, we'll consider each statement separately first, then together if needed. Before the statements, we're asked if 6x over 13 is an integer. For 6x over 13 to be an integer, 6x must be divisible by 13. So let's consider statement 1 first. Considering statement 1, we're given that x is a prime number. Now, x could be any prime number. So suppose x is 13. This then means that 6 times 13 over 13 would definitely be an integer. It would equal 6. But if 6 is any other prime number, say that it is 5, and we plug in when x is 5, 6 times 5 over 13 is not going to be an integer because there's nothing that we can cancel with 13 since 13 is prime. So this actually would not be an integer. Now, since we can't get a definitive answer with just the information whether that x is a prime number, because sometimes 6x over 13 will be an integer and sometimes it won't be, this statement alone is not sufficient. So if statement 1 alone is not sufficient, we can actually rule out answer choice A and D because alone statement 1 won't be sufficient. So let's go ahead and next consider statement 2. We need to find out whether statement 2 alone is sufficient. So considering statement 2, we're given that 3x is divisible by 13. So that means that 3x is equal to 13 times, let's choose some integer n. Now let's consider whether 6x over 13 is going to be an integer. So 6x over 13, 6x can be split apart into 2 times 3, and then we have our x in the numerator still, over 13. Now 3x we know is equal to 13 times some integer. So if we go ahead and plug that in, we have 2 times 13n over 13. And in this case, the 13's cancel, so we would end up with 2 times n, remembering that n is actually an integer here. So yes, this will actually come out to be an integer. We can definitively answer with the given statement 2 that if 3x is divisible by 13, yes, 6x over 13 is going to be an integer. So statement 2 alone is sufficient. This allows us to actually answer the question right now. We can eliminate answer choices C and E, because these consider where statement 2 is not sufficient, and we're left with answer choice B. Statement 2 alone is sufficient, but statement 1 alone is not sufficient. And that's our final answer choice.